Welcome to a magical episode of Women in the Making. Today, we have the incredible Maritess Zurbano, a professional magician, author, and psychic entertainer joining us. In her early 20s, Maritess embarked on a quest to defy convention and carve her path in the male-dominated realm of magic. But Maritess' story isn't just about mastering sleight of hand. It's about shattering stereotypes and challenging perceptions. Despite facing skepticism and prejudice, she refused to confine by societal's expectations, proving that magic knows no gender, no boundaries. Get ready to be spellbound by her tale of magic and empowerment. Maritess, welcome to Women in the Making Season 2.
Hello. Yes.
In segment 1, I always love to talk a little more, rewind your life. Mm-hmm. So I want to rewind and go back to early 20s or a time where all of this magic actually began in your life.
Yeah. I don't know. I think after I left the Catholic Church, I just didn't know how anything worked. Right. So I still believed in magic because that's what the religion taught us, is that, you can make breads and fishes multiply and part the Red Sea and resurrect the dead. Mm-hmm. So even though I left that church, I thought I actually still believed in something, because I knew something invisible was happening around us. I knew that magic was real. And so I thought, well, I'm going to see, because I didn't know what magic was exactly. I mean, does the Pope know how to saw a woman in half? So that's when I went and got some private magic lessons in Chicago. And it turns out that was a very famous magic shop, and the owner was the dean of American magicians, and he knew lots of people. And so I moved to Vegas to visit, and magic did not look that hard. So I'm like, I can move here and become a magic star, no problem. So I moved.
That's great. I come back from a small town in India, and I remember my mom used to take us to a lot of magic shows. And as a young kid, I was so mesmerized. I really thought magic was real. And there was this guy, he was a very big name, especially in India. His name was PC Sarkar.
Of course. Very famous.
And I saw him one time in real, and I thought, this is a different world. And then you see stories like Harry Potter and so many phenomenal things as you start growing and you start evolving yourself into that world that, it's not real. Actually, it really saddened me a lot. Mm-hmm. But when I saw a movie called The Mentalist, I'm like, this is real. This is real. Mm-hmm. They really can do some real magic. And then, you see these people like Chris Angel who can literally fly in the air, walk in the water. So it's all still an illusion in my mind. Is this illusion? Is this magic? But it is absolutely mesmerizing.
Yeah, I think the problem with magic historically is that the reason why magic is seen as cheesy by a lot of people is because it omits women. I mean, when you try to take the power away from a woman, you just kind of don't even talk about how, you and I are life bringers. I had 2 heads and 4 hands at one time. And gave birth to a living human being. That is the ultimate magician, right? But the illusion is that white supremacy tells us that if you get a mediocre white guy, put him in a tuxedo, pay some poor woman to sit in a bikini, suddenly he has power. And so after being in magic for over 30 years, I realized that the underlying thing with magic as performance is that it's all about elevating mediocre white guys.
Right.
And so what is it to be a brown woman in a traditionally white guy, or even a guy space? It doesn't have to be white, even in India, right?
Yeah.
And so I see it as no more secrets, because that's very colonial. right? Like keeping secrets, very patriarchy, like
Right.
don't tell anybody. And the secret is that we all already know what magic is. We've all had an orgasm. We've all had great food. We've all seen a sunrise.
Right.
So that's
Oh, I love
magic
that.
already. So that's the secret, is like you've got to own your magic. Because it was, for too many centuries, it was people were telling us the definition of magic and who was allowed to hold it. So it's a shift in power.
Right. I love how you really explain that. And sometimes we forget the little pleasures of life. Like you said, magic, right? A sunrise is magic, a sunset is magic. And how many of us actually forget that it is also part of gratitude? Like it's magic and gratitude at the same time.
Right.
I was reading an article about you last night where I read that in your early 20s, you used to walk up to male magicians and have like small talks. They would look at you in a very funny way and walk away. Basically, they underestimated you, that you could be at the same power, at the same level, and you could be a magician. Did it really leave a profound impact on your life, or you were like, I want to fight this out really hard and come back at them?
An Asian American brown girl growing up in the white suburbs of Illinois, I don't take cues from people. Like, even though it's really obvious that nobody in the room wants me there, I'm just used to being like, they need me. They want me there. I'm going to show up. They don't know what they're talking about, you know? So I don't take cues very well. So yeah, people tell me all the time, like just by their body language, just by, you know, who they allow membership to, who they have friends with, that, you know, they're trying to tell me like, Maritess, this is a guy's thing. Don't come in here. I'm like, you wait. I'm going to show you. So yeah, I didn't get the hint. And I didn't get the hint really that I wasn't welcome until after I competed in the World Championship of Magic. And after I had my own illusion show in Japan, and after I lectured and performed throughout Europe at the private magic clubs, even after all of these accomplishments, I still go to the magic club meeting in Las Vegas, and they treat me like I'm a cocktail waitress.
Wow.
You know, like,
Wow.
and these are people I've known for like decades, and they just look at me like, who are you? And so, yeah, I definitely am not welcome in the magic world. And I wouldn't have said that maybe like 5 years ago. I would have been like super positive and, you know, everybody's welcome. And, you know, no, it's not intersectional. There's a lot of white female magicians that talk about how great it is in the magic world. It's not. I'm the only magician out here in these streets that will tell you exactly how misogyny and patriarchy play into this male-dominated field. But it's always been historical that it benefits white women,
Of course. Yeah.
to be silent and go along with the program. And so it's just business as usual.
Wow, that's so interesting. Like, I have goosebumps right now while talking to you, because
Thank you.
it's a different story. And it's very intriguing to understand that this is a different world that you belong. And even today, as highly respectable magician, and you still have to go through a deal about like proving yourself, like proving your worth every time that you're getting into that room, that you belong there. And I don't think that should happen to any one of us, whether we are brown skin or black skin, right? It should be like you're encouraged and welcome for who you are, rather than you have to prove it every single time that you belong there.
Yeah, and as someone who grew up mostly around predominantly white spaces, I always thought that my success depended upon my proximity to whiteness. Like, I had to be as white as possible. I had to have as many white friends of power as possible. And then I have some Gen Z friends, and they challenged me on that. They said, well, what if your audiences were people of color?
Yeah.
And then so my racist self came in and I was like, oh, they don't have any money. And they're like, no, people of color have money. What if you could attract people of your like mind and people of color who have the means and interest to support you? Like,
I love this friend.
Like, holy shit, you're right. Yes.
That's true. Was there at any point in your career any anecdote or a story that you felt that left the performance and the people with a meaningful impact?
Well, basically, the end of my show is exactly the monologue I told you right now.
Right. That's true.
But I do magic while I say it. And so, yeah, people just go crazy. So,
Maritess, what inspired you to transition from traditional magic to creating the decolonized tarot? First of all, it's a very interesting word. So I'm going to let you take the stage and talk us through it.
yeah, so I've been a professional psychic entertainer since the 1900s. And I was reading tarot cards in Las Vegas at corporate events. And I've been doing this for so long. And my audiences vary in, colors. And I was getting a little bit tired of reading tarot cards. And it didn't match who was in front of me. So if I'm doing a tarot card reading for this lovely African-American man and everyone's white, and I'm trying to tell him the future, like that doesn't make any sense at all. So, and I looked around for tarot cards and there's nothing. And my friends would go so far as to get crayons and try to color it in, but it doesn't work. And and then I met my business partner, Kathleen. She's also Filipino American and an amazing illustrator. And I always thought that like the greatest ideas are meant only for like
So true.
like white people who have the means. Like Bill Gates was very successful because his parents let him live in their garage, let him hang out at home. His friend worked with him for free. And I'm like, I don't know anybody who's going to do that for me, work for free. I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
But my friend, Kathleen, she, for free, we designed the deck and created a Kickstarter and raised $73,000
Wow.
from 26 countries.
That's
and
incredible.
it was a huge success. It's very hard.
Yes.
We're still fulfilling orders from the Kickstarter. It's really not easy.
Sure.
Because there's a technology aspect in it too. But and I was even discouraged from using the word decolonized at the time. This is back in 2021.
Correct.
Yeah, because we're saying, oh, it's too political. And
That's what I was wondering. Where did the name came from?
yeah. And back in 2021, no one was saying decolonized. And so, I'm an artist. I'm a freelancer. I don't have a boss. I don't care. Like, I'm going to call it whatever I want to call it. And that's what the artists should do. Artists should piss people off and do what they want. And that's how you make change. And it worked out. And people from 26 countries around the world agreed with me. So, it was amazing. So, and then I'm even going to be speaking on a panel at the American Librarians Association.
Wow, I love that.
Isn't that amazing?
It's so cool.
Just me and my business partner, a little Kickstarter, and I'm speaking in front of fancy people. Yeah, I'm so excited. So
I love that. So how do you think the decolonized tarot is now reshaping the landscape of reading and storytelling? I have done traditional tarot readings so many times from multiple people, right? So for somebody like me, tell me, how is this different?
I think that when you see the cards, they're all people of color, which is insane.
Wow.
And it's all genders and body shapes and abilities. So you'll see people in wheelchairs, people who are bald, people, so.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to bring everybody into the future and be bold about it.
I love that. And I'm very intrigued, and I'm going to wait for when that is going to come out, because
yes.
I'll be your first client. I'm very much into tarot reading. I love magic. So for me, this world is very, very interesting. I love your story and the way you're sharing about it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Maritess, you faced skepticism and doubt throughout your career. How did you navigate into this world of magic where you were definitely persistent about the fact that this is your life?
I don't know. There's a old saying. It's written in the pyramids, on the inside of the pyramids. And if you translate it, it says, when the check clears, the magician appears. Very rare saying.
Wow.
So I'm just kidding. It's
Oh, really?
no.
I almost believed it.
No, it's no. If they're paying me, I'm in. You know, like people just get paying me. They're like, "Do you want to do this gig for like a lot of money for 1 hour?" I'm like,
Sure.
"Yes, I will do card tricks for an hour." Yeah,
Sure.
so that's how I got into it. And absolutely, if they're not paying my bills, I don't really care what people are thinking.
But it also matters, right? Like, not everybody can really do magic. I have to be really clear about that. Like, you know, I can't even think about trying something like that. I remember while growing up, there was something that a magician said, your hands have to be so good that you can learn the traits of magic. And it stayed with me. And I could not understand while growing up, what did he really mean?
He's lying to you. That's
And I'm
what
like,
it was.
later on,
It's not true.
I'm like, okay, maybe he's right.
No.
That, oh, you need to know the art of how to hide things.
No. I think if you're a beginning magician, that's kind of like the beginner premise, you know. But there's all sorts of branches of magic. So there's mind reading. There's if you're an illusionist, you can just hire a bunch of people to move some furniture around. You go like this, and then they're cut in half. And, you know,
I still don't know the trick. So.
Yeah, well, the trick is, as famous magician Billy McComb once said, own a couple of houses. That's the secret of magic. You just,
I like that.
You just have your dad, these like trust fund babies, they have their dad buy them a bunch of illusions.
Yeah.
And they get some glittery outfits. Go like this. Have your assistant cut in half. Get a tiger, you know.
I was in Vegas one time with my husband, and they called me on the stage with a bunch of people in a group, and they disappeared us. I remember running.
That's
right?
cool.
That was the first question they asked. Can you run? And I said, yeah, I can run.
That's so cool.
And then I got the autograph and I got a nice picture. And my husband was like, we literally saw you guys disappear. I said, listen, the thing is, I really don't know where we disappeared. All I knew that I ran somewhere and I was out of the entire stadium. And I said, there is magic to it, because there is a process to it that even as a person who got disappeared doesn't realize. And that's great, because I don't want to ask so many questions, because I enjoyed that experience that something happened on the stage.
That is so cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're like a little Indiana Jones for like 5 minutes, you know? That's really amazing.
It was so mesmerizing.
It's a great story.
I felt so extraordinary at that point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That somebody can do that to us with, I think we were 20 people on the stage.
That's incredible. Yeah.
And within a few seconds, we all disappeared from the stage.
Yeah. Only Copperfield has the billions of dollars to cover that insurance policy.
And I was just going to say,
Can you imagine?
I was in David Copperfield's show.
But can you imagine that insurance policy, like get 20 people from the audience to run? Like your insurance policy has got to be like crazy.
Yep.
But he's a billionaire, so he can do
He
that.
is.
But it's like, that's such a great story. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read the next question. From cheesy point hat Merlin magicians at Renaissance fairs to Houdini, The iconic man in a tuxedo and top hat to Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, Western magic is all about white male oppressors subjugating anyone who wasn't them.
Yes, sister, yes.
This Western magic was never designed for women or people of color to
That's
hold
right.
power. This is the all boys club magic.
Oh, that's me talking? Oh, wait.
Yeah. No
Wow.
girls allowed.
Wow, I like what you're talking. Oh, that's me?
In that moment of realization.
Dang.
This is from an article that I read about that you wrote. No, I wanted to understand if did anything shift in your mindset when you were writing all of this about the white supremacy, like no girls are allowed in this profession. What was going on in your mind when you were even writing something like this or you were experiencing this? Because a lot of times people give up. It's always great to talk about the facts that pursue your passion, destined to make or break this career, right? But when you're actually into it, sometimes you're facing the hardships, you're facing the struggles. You yourself know what you are going through. And not everybody can stick to the passion at that very moment because they have to move on. Either the money is not great, either the career is not great, either you have your own circumstantial stuff going on at that moment, but you still decided to pursue it with love, with perseverance.
Right.
And it's really hard.
No, I've seen too many mediocre white guys have a fabulous life as a magician or an artist. So I thought, if they can have that, why not me? So that's why I stuck with it, because I seen it. Only years later did I understand that what a trust fund was. And oh, that's the secret. That's that's how they stuck in there. Trust fund. So, yeah, and that's kind of what drives me. Even now, I went to a grant writing workshop because I write grants in order to get paid to write books and articles and do artistic things, plays. And this one white grant maker, she's a filmmaker, a very successful grant maker, and she said, "Oh yeah, I've been to Indonesia 6 times." And I'm looking at that Zoom, and I just wanted to smack her. I was like, I'm Filipino American. I've only been to the Philippines once. That was a few years ago. Now I've been there 3 times. But my goal is to go at least 6 times to match her, because I was just so mad. It's like, what?
I get it.
How? What are you doing? So I thought, yeah, if she can do that, so can I. So I think my mind was just opened to that experience of living your best life and creating your own magic and your own dreams. Because I think with my immigrant family's mindset was always save, save, save. And so now everybody is wealthy, but they don't have the time or didn't choose to go back. Or I have some family members who are Trump supporters who have never been to the Philippines, and they don't want to go because they're white supremacists.
Right.
So that's a whole other podcast
I know.
altogether.
Yes. We have to have a whole conversation about this.
That's I can talk about that for a long time. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing this story. It's very interesting, and I'm so mesmerized already.
So much to unpack, but yeah, thanks.
Maritess, in the year of 2021, you were detected with breast cancer.
Oh, yeah.
And so how did you think, I'm sure your life changed. And how did your perspective towards life and magic evolve, change, your perspective towards life? What happened during that time? Can you share your story with us?
When I was diagnosed, I called my mom and my sisters to tell them I had breast cancer, and no one returned my phone calls or text messages. So that was interesting.
And why was that?
they don't talk to me. I don't know. I'm sure lots of intergenerational trauma, and yeah, it's not good. Yeah. So I'm very much into like decolonization and dismantling intergenerational trauma. And being Filipino, there's so much trauma that's not said that is passed down through the generations. So in the Filipino-American War, like General McKinley ordered over 200,000 Filipinos to be massacred in the islands. You don't learn this in American history. So I'm sure it's the same with India. I'm sure you don't
There's a
get
lot
taught. Yeah. Then I just asked on social media, hey, I need help going to this blood draw and doctors, and all these people came to help me. And like the right people came in, became my friends.
Wow.
Strangers became my friends. And now, after 2 years of complete, going through complete hell, like losing my hair,
right
heinous treatments, I have a no bullshit policy where, I don't know, when I talk, I might piss people off. And I'm not here to beg people to be my friend.
Sure.
I'm not here to apologize for like how I am. Like, if you don't like me, cool. Because I do not have, we all have X amount of time on earth.
Sure.
So
You're not here to please people for no reason.
Yeah. And that was my problem this whole time, is that I was a people pleaser. Even though you wouldn't think it looking at me and my attitude to this whole podcast, you wouldn't think that. But I was like, to a limited extent, all about white supremacy growing up and gender, roles and how to.
I mean, even today, look at the gender roles. I mean, gender gaps in so many fields, women are left behind, whether we believe it or not. A lot of people are fighting about it, but it's still not there. And why is it still not there? Is because there is still corruption.
Right.
There is still a lot of things that happen behind closed doors that we are not aware of. And I'm part of a lot of women groups, and we keep fighting about it. But if you see the impact that has changed, I mean, the impact that it has made, it is drastical impact, but it's still not enough for all the women who can come together and say, we've arrived.
Right.
That has not happened. We are in 2024, and women have still not got the power that they deserve, that they should be at some place in life right now.
I blame the Hillary Clintons and the Sheryl Sandbergs of the world. The whole like culture of like lean in. We're already leaning in. You don't need to tell me to lean in more. And I don't need Hillary Clinton telling me what to do as she supports no ceasefire and Palestine, and it's so much.
So you spoke about the fact that, breast cancer, you did not have initial support from your own family. And then you made friends and you found a lot of different friends who, trusted you, helped you in this journey. How difficult was this journey? Because maybe you had to take a break from your work. And then how did you support? And you have a kid as well.
Yeah.
So how was that?
Yeah.
How was the entire experience that time?
It was amazing. Like, my most self-described introverted friends were the first in line to say, let me drive your kid to school. And another one said, let me pick up your kid from school.
That's great.
Like, every day. And then I had people who I met once at salsa dancing just once.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, I'll take you to all of your chemotherapy. And like would sit there with me for 6 hours doing chemotherapy. My Kung Fu teacher visited me once a week and took me around the block for walks. I did a GoFundMe, and people gave us money for rent and food, and people sent me gift cards. It was incredible. It was amazing. Like, people slept over. My doula who I met like 15 years ago.
Sure.
Popped up, and she's like, okay, so I had an IUD in, and my oncologist said, oh, take that IUD out because it puts out estrogen. And I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna get this IUD out? I need it out right now. And my doula was now a nurse, and she said, oh, I can just come over. She came over.
Wow.
With a speculum. I'm on my bed with a towel.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, it takes just a few seconds to get it out.
Right? Yeah.
It's incredible.
Just like amazing stories.
Well, I'm so glad you're fit and fine, sitting right next to us and continuing the world of magic.
True. All true.
Maritess, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey, your incredible magic stories. I am so exhilarated with your experience and your life. And we are coming to the end of the show, which is called the Burning Questions. They are short and sweet and super fun.
Okay.
So my first question for you is, how do you think magic can be probably used as a tool for social change and environment? Can it or can it not?
Yeah, I think it's a litmus test. Like, are, cable networks, television networks willing to produce a show starring a brown lady doing magic? Also, I use magic as a platform to bring a much wider audience into my very polarizing discussions about gender, patriarchy, and misogyny. So, I'm using it for social change. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
Is there a particular magician that you really looked up to and you wish you had got more time with that magician?
Yes, but also because it's such a misogynistic and patriarchal space, it would have been just a matter of time before they would show me some porno or say something bad or try to grope me or something. Like, I've had so many bad experiences in magic. Just, And then the nice ones that have girlfriends or married, and I just want to be their friend and hang out. Their girlfriends or wives are like, why are you talking to this like female magician, on the phone or email or, I'm like, oh God.
My last question for you before we wrap up this episode is, tell me one most amazing experience of your entire magic journey that you would like to share with the audience.
I just saw the greatest magician on earth in Japan 2 weeks ago. His name is Hide. It's in this tiny bar in Tokyo. And he was just very personable and very nice. And he did incredible magic. But because he took the time to get to know people, and he's older, he's like 60. I guess the age doesn't matter, honestly. But he just didn't come off as creepy as a lot of magicians do. And he did this magic show that was so incredible. They say that when you do a magic show, you should always do one or two that impress the magicians.
Yeah.
And so, he did some.
That is amazing.
Amazing stuff.
If you want to have any more spicy updates from Maritess, then you have to keep watching her and read her space, because there's a lot of exciting stuff on the way. Because Maritess is here with us, we're not going to leave her without doing any magic. So just wait.
So, okay, examine that. Make sure that's
Yep, it's a $1 bill.
Okay, that's quite good enough. Okay, thank you. All right, anyway. So, I have to do a classic of magic because, of course, everybody, when they find out I'm a magician, they say the same thing, which is what? Can you make this into
$500?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So then you have to kind of do it. So when your friends ask you this, you say, well, did you blink? And you have to say, no. And just take your eyes off the bill. And you have to say, no. And
What? Oh my god! What?
yes.
This is crazy.
Yeah, it's just,
Is that a real currency?
yeah, check it out. Sure. Okay.
Oh my gosh. This is as real as it
Oh, yeah,
gets.
you can
Guys,
show-
this
yeah,
is real. $1 to $100, and I'm not giving her back.
Okay, okay. Anyway. All right, so we'll do this again. Let's see.
Wow.
Okay. I'm showing you. I guess I should show the camera, right?
My God. I'm just sad that the $100 bill is gone. Woo! This is so good.
Thank you. Thank you very
I
much.
love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. That was incredible. Oh my gosh.
welcome.
What? Like, seriously. What? She has nothing in her hands. How do you do that?
There's an old saying. It's years of hard work and self-denial. But I
Wow.
don't say that because that's cheesy. So
But that was so cool.
it's a lot of practice.
Maritess, your journey is a testament to resilience, creativity, and the transformative power of storytelling. Thank you for sharing your magic with us today. Remember, it's not just about pulling rabbits out of hats, but about using our talents to empower and inspire others. Join us next time for another inspiring episode of Women in the Making. And don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe. Thank you. As we draw the curtains on an incredible season 2 of Women in the Making, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us on this extraordinary journey. From captivating conversations to empowering stories, it's been an honor to share the voices of remarkable women with you all. But this isn't a goodbye. Rather, I'm going to see you soon. Season 3 will be on the horizon, and let me tell you, it's going to be something truly magical and extraordinary. Get ready to embark on a global adventure as we uncover stories from around the world that will leave you fascinated, inspired, enlightened, and craving for a lot more. So until we meet again in Season 3, keep dreaming, keep believing, and keep making your mark on the world. The best is yet to come. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and follow. Go to womeninthemaking.com for more updates and subscribe to our spicy newsletter. Thank you.